So I can't wait to teach you how to make your very own three-dimensional fraction face. This is a project that will take more than one day. So we're gonna get started today and then you'll finish it later. So let's get started with making our own fraction faces. So I'm going to show you today how to do your fraction face portraits. To begin, you're going to want to draw a large oval in the middle of your paper. You want it to fill most of the space. So don't be afraid of it being too big. And then you're going to add a vertical line very lightly down the center of the oval. This will divide your oval into half. So now you have two halves. Then I want you to draw a horizontal line across the center of the oval. And now our oval is divided into fourths. Now you want to draw a line that is between the center line and the bottom of your oval. It will be halfway, just like that. And now you're going to draw a line that is halfway between this line and the bottom of your oval. So now I've got my vertical line and three horizontal lines. On the top horizontal line, I'm going to show you how to make your eyes. You're going to make an arc like this and an arc again like that on the top of the line. Now you'll draw another arc going underneath the line. You can make circles in the middle for your eyes. And now I've drawn my eyes. The interesting thing about your nose is about as wide as the space between your eyes. Now, sometimes kids will say they don't like the nose to look like this, and I'm going to show you a couple other ways that you can draw a nose. One way is the shallow U, like I did. If you want to make some nostrils for your nose, you can do a little C and a backward C, just like that. Another way that you can choose to make your nose is make a J, and if you want to add a little nostril, make a little backward C right there. The last method is the letter L. Make an L, and if you want it to have a nostril, make a little backward C. And those are three different ways that you can draw your nose, just like that. Now you're going to draw your lips on the third line. Lips have mirror symmetry, so you can go like this. Use the middle line and you're going to do another little arc, and then on the bottom, you'll do a shallow U. Now for your ears, you can make your ears just like that between these two lines. You can check for yourself, but your ears usually are as tall as the space between your nose and your eyes. And then to make your neck, you can measure from the edges of your eyes, and that's where you can draw the line for your neck. Now remember, we'll erase all of these lines before we're done. You can add eyebrows at this point, and they just go right above the eyes. And now I'm going to add the hair. Now this little point is the crown of your head. That's the very top of your head. So that's where my hair goes all the way back. And I'm gonna draw myself when my hair goes off to one side. Then I'm gonna make it over just a little bit over the top of my head. And it comes down like that. And then on the other side, it tucks behind my ear. And I think I'm done. You can add details like freckles or earrings and all of that stuff later. The next thing that we're going to do is we are going to erase these lines that we don't need. So really carefully, this is why you didn't want to press too hard with your pencil. You'll erase all of the lines that you don't want to have showing in your piece of art. So just erase, erase, erase. Now at this point, if you want to, you can add some details. So for example, I'm going to draw the middle part of her eyes, and you might not see them, but I have some freckles, and I'm going to draw some of the lines of my hair. The next step is to go over everything with a Sharpie. The reason you need to use a Sharpie for this activity is because we're going to use watercolor over it, and if you use any other kind of marker, the watercolor will make the pen bleed. So you want to be sure that you're using a permanent marker. Now, my portrait is done. If you don't have straight hair, which I bet a lot of you don't, when I was a kid, I always wished I had curly hair. And a lot of the kids that I knew, like my sister who had curly hair, wished they had straight hair. But I'll show you some ways that you could do other kinds of hair. If this is your head and you want to do curls, you can do spirals like this, coming down. Another way that you can do curly hair, I think of this kind of hair like a cloud. And if you want to do a hairstyle, you can think about how you might wear your hair. Maybe you wear your hair in pigtails. You can add those on top of your head if you want to. So you get to make this however you want to. Whether you have straight hair or curly hair, you make it look just like you. So now I've finished with this step, and it's time to get out my watercolors. You definitely want to make sure that you have a good surface to paint on. I have my watercolor paints. I have paper towel, and I'll use this paper towel for a lot of different things, for dabbing my paint dry, maybe some mixing, so you'll want to use that. And then you'll want your watercolors. One of the things that a lot of kids have a tricky time with is making the skin the color of their skin. And there's a lot of different ways that you can make skin, so I'm going to show you. You always want to sort of start with a brown, and I use this plastic part of my tray to do my mixing. You want to get a lot of paint and a lot of water. So usually skin will start with brown, and depending on the shade of your skin, you'll have more or less. And you can just test out the skin color on the edge of your paper, because we won't be using this paper. We're going to cut out this head at some point. So that's not the color that I was thinking. I might add a little bit of red to that. Then you'll add a little bit of yellow. Now people come in a huge array of colors. Keep mixing until you find the one that feels right for you. For skin, I find it needs a lot more water for my skin tone, but you might not need as much for yours. You can add various shades of yellow, red, and brown. And also it will dry looking lighter. So if you wanted to mix other colors, if say you wanted your skin to be a little darker shade, if you want to add a little orange or some black to yours to make it the right tone, you certainly should do that. Once you have a color, just start painting. If you go outside of the lines, that's totally fine, because you will be cutting it out. And there we go. I like her. I think she looks quite a lot like me. Once this dries, we'll get started on part 2. So you're going to need to set this aside for a while and come back to it later.